So our branding and comms centre of excellence is really quite broad ranging. So it covers all sorts of client challenges and work from brand development, so developing brand platforms and shaping different brand positionings for clients, which often involves kind of qualitative techniques. It can also include comms testing and campaign effectiveness testing. Yes, I think some of the biggest challenges that we hear from clients with their existing brand trackers, they're boring, to sum it up. So they often come to us saying that their brand tracker's a bit stale, a bit dated, it's not really delivering much impact or any powerful insights. Some of the other challenges that we hear from clients when it comes to their existing brand trackers is that stakeholders aren't really engaging with it, so they often struggle to get the business on board with listening to the outputs and taking it into kind of a strategic place within the business, and it can often just sit as something that is debriefed every 6 months, but everyone turns up and doesn't really listen that much, and the outputs don't really feed into any kind of work streams in the business. I think we do quite a lot of things differently. We actually kind of have an ongoing dialogue with our clients to really make sure that we immerse ourselves in what the challenge is within the business and the challenges that the brand might be facing, so we can really kind of sharpen the insights up to be super tailored and relevant to the business.
One of the biggest things that we bring to brand tracking is the tie-up to commercials. I think there's a lot of agencies who've developed off-the-shelf brand tracking frameworks, but what we find is that the metrics that work in one industry don't always work in another industry. And so we develop bespoke metrics that have a proven link to say, share of wallet or market share. So we'll take each individual client's market share data and we'll map that against a range of different metrics, candidate metrics, and come up with an overall brand index that we prove links to market share. And that makes people really listen. It makes stakeholders really take note of what's happening with brand, because we can start to have a narrative which is along the lines of brand equity has risen by X%, and that will have had a windfall impact on market share of Y%. And when we start to have those conversations, stakeholders really listen. I think the other thing with brand tracking is the diagnostic side of things, making sure that the metrics that we're using at a very diagnostic and granular level are really on point, actionable and relevant to clients' needs, and then using the right analytical methods to really tease out where focus needs to be. The other thing that we do differently is our touchpoint modelling. So media is very fragmented, and a lot of measurement, econometrics, for example, really focuses on the high-level media and TV and so forth. Whereas what we'll do is we'll really get into under the skin of the different touch points that really drive a brand to be engaged with, and also how those touch points ladder up. So, for example, is it social media? Which specific social media challenges? Is it a magic formula of social media combined with a word-of-mouth recommendation? And we're using analytics to get really granular on the touch points that matter and what that means for the marketing mix. I think that really sets us apart as an agency.
Tip number 1, I think, would be make it bespoke to you. So we always recommend auditing a brand track questionnaire and really making sure that the questions that we're asking are really relevant to you in the sector and the business and what you know to be important for your audience in that market. And it also means kind of really evolving the programme as you go along, so reviewing it every year, sharpening it up and making sure it doesn't go a bit stale. So tip number 2 would be make it work really hard. So brand trackers are often quite a high value investment for an insight team and for a business, so we feel like you should maximise the kind of value and the impact that you get from them. So that could include kind of flexible hot topics within the questionnaire design. These kind of flexible modules allow you to ask burning questions that might be floating around the business, dig a little bit deeper into some insights that were surfaced in the previous wave, and or it might be comms testing, but it just allows you to kind of really get the most out of this tool that is sitting within the heart of the business. Tip number 3 would be make it commercial. So it's all well and good having a brand track study that's been running for a few years in the business, and you get a few people coming to a debrief and you look at these metrics and the brand funnel and it's going up or it's going down. But I think unless you have something that really ties it back to the business's commercial performance or performance within the market, it's kind of a bit meaningless. So we really try to encourage all of our brand trackers to have that link to a commercial metric. We often do this with a bespoke KPI using our advanced analytics to determine what are the kind of best metrics within the survey that do have a relationship with market share and performance. Tip number 4 would be make it famous, which sounds a bit weird, but what we mean by that is brand trackers often exist in businesses but don't have much of an audience because they've gone a bit stale or the debriefs are really boring. So we always try to create a brand health study and a program that has kind of recognition and power within the business to some extent. And tip number 5, finally, would be let us have a look at your brand tracker. We'll be more than happy to audit it, take a look, share any suggestions on how it could be optimised. Get in touch.